Hello. Good evening. Who's there and who's going to join us first on this Sunday evening? Hello. Annie Chukwu, Samuel, good evening. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hello, Favor. How are you? Jefferson, good evening. Wow, top 3 men. Thank you, guys. Welcome. Hello, Olayemi. How are you? Good evening, everyone. As you're coming in, please start to share immediately and also invite your friends. Hello, Oriyomi. Good evening. Thank you, Jefferson. I appreciate that. Jane, good evening. Reverend Roslyn, good evening. How are you? Topsy Gift, welcome. Hello, Mary. Good evening. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, guys. Hi, Joy. Hello, Mrs. Ojimado. Ojimado. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Annie Chukwu, for sharing. Thank you very much, Topsy. Thanks. Yinka, good evening, and welcome to today's program. Jane, again, thank you very much. Eno Obong, good evening. Hello, Ladi, how are you? Afalabi, good evening. Good. Evan, good evening. That's Ladi Alabade, because I think Mr. Sharon might also join. Evans, good evening. Thank you, guys. Lisa, how are you? Good evening. Thank you for joining. Olusegun, good evening. Justine, good evening. Thank you, guys. So today is a book review. I know you've seen the title, Why You Should Urgently Become a Workaholic. Wow. The word workaholic usually have a negative connotation, but I think it's slowly changing.
For who?
For biomasses.
For biomasses. Okay, then you are correct. Yeah. I think you might be right in that one.
Okay. Dr. Sonja just said for who? Yes. So, but that's totally changing in my mind as well now. Still waiting on your cake, Reverend Rose. Now I'm waiting on my cake. It was my birthday. So thank you anyway. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your comments, your really lovely messages. I was so overwhelmed with love. I thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you. Hello, Ineya. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Please share. Temi Lola, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. So, why you should urgently become a workaholic? I really want to know why I should urgently become a workaholic, because it's usually I want to take it easy, I want to retire, but have everything that I need, but be taking it easy. That's me. I think this book is written for me, so I will be listening attentively. And please, guys, let's invite other people, because I know there may be many people out there that have the same mindset as I do, that being a workaholic is negative and it's just pointless, and it's just that means you're not a child of God because you're not blessed, you're working and you're toiling too much. You know, whatever they may say, please get people here so that they can also join us in this understanding. Flora, good evening. Bisoye, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Please invite your friends. Don't just share on your page, because if you share on your page, people might just come to your page and not tap. But if you invite them, then they may be more curious. Hello, Evan. You're saying I am a workaholic. I just don't have a job. Lord, it's urgent. I make money, but not everyone sees it to be an urgent as me. Okay, maybe you will get some clarity from this book review, and you'll get some ideas on what to do and what not to do to achieve your goal. So let's see. Join us. Pay attention. Oluwatoyin, good evening. Good evening, everyone, again. Okay, thank you, Oluwatoyin. So, guys, let us all go and share. So, if you haven't already shared, please let's do that now before Dr. Sunday starts. Hakan, because there's something on top of. Yes, hello, good evening. Jake, how are you? Ronke Smith, good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much, Nenya. Good evening. Thank you. Do you know a better way to pronounce that name? Okay. I think many people will be joining us today. This program today is really going to be explosive. By the way, Dr. Son has been arranging the chair. I know something is going to happen. So guys, brace yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera. Please share, and invite your friends and family. Sunday today, there's no excuse. You know, what are people doing? They're back from church, if they went to church. So let's invite them to join us in this and have a time where we can really learn and be impacted. So come on, let's all join in together. Right, I'm turning the camera now. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Ta-da.
If you are going to turn the camera to me, then I have to say that yes, we are dealing with a book today, which is a different book. And the book is called Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. Or why you must urgently become a workaholic. That's exactly what it's called. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. So I know I've released this book some time ago, but I've not really done the presentation for you to know what is inside. And since we have a few people here today, I don't know if they are busy. I need as many as are willing to participate. You don't have to, but if you wish to, please come and join us. I need 2 people here and 1 there. You don't want her? Then you have to move so that you can see.
Because I know we're in the same color.
Okay. Good for them. So this book is called Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. In that title, do you people feel any urgency in it? Why you don't, right?
The title is an urgency.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think because the idea of the book and why it's called that way is to communicate and pass around and make everybody that will come across this book to feel the urgency. There is an urgency. There are so many reasons why there are urgencies about becoming a workaholic. First of all, if you don't make it urgent, if you are not in a hurry with becoming a workaholic, by the time you wake up, your strength has left you. So even though you now want to become a workaholic, your best days are behind you. Another reason why you must urgently become a workaholic is because you have a time limit here, actually. You are not going to be here forever. And you don't decide for how long. I've seen people who left this world at the age of 20, 18, 25. You are not in charge. So since you are not in charge, that urgency must be there. Why you must urgently become a workaholic? Why the urgency? Because true workaholism is the work with true work. Work is the only instrument that is designed by God, by which you could release and become all that you are capable of becoming, or do anything that you are capable of doing. So there is even no other way apart from work. So there is nothing that should be more emphasized on this side of the planet, of the world, than work. Everything you desire to do or become or have will have to go to the door or to the gate of work. That is why if you are going to look for sources of wealth, or if you are going to look for the definition of wealth, alongside time, One of the most important source of wealth, not riches, but wealth. Not money, but wealth. One of the most significant sources of wealth is work, apart from time. So I'm just explaining to you why urgent. Why must you urgently? Why urgent? Can I ask any one of you? You'll be free to talk when you are ready. Why? What? Am I a fanatic?
Yes, you definitely.
By saying you must urgently? Because in this world, do you know why I'm a fanatic? Because in this world, why I have to make my teaching be so urgent and be so fanatical is because everything is vying for your time and for your attention. But they are vying for your attention and time through soft means, through things, through your weaknesses, through pleasure, through your flesh, through vanity. These things that are vying for your attention are millions of them. So out of the millions or billions of things that are fighting to make you not to hear me and not to hear God, I must shout the loudest so that at least a few could hear. I don't know if you will get it.
Yeah.
That's why I have to be a fanatic for me to even be noticed. But if I'm just doing it anyhow, then I'm not ready to communicate. I don't have a mission then. But since I have a mission, I've got to make it loud. So, is you wanted to say something?
Yes.
Okay, because what I wanted to ask you people is, how do you assess what I'm doing? Urgently, why you must urgently become a workaholic? Why should you even write that kind of book? Why that kind of title? What are you trying to do? How is this all coming through to you? How is it coming around to you people? How are you receiving it? Yes.
I think in your introduction, when you said time, you mentioned time, and you also mentioned the things that are already taking our time at the moment, the soft things that are taking our time, and importantly that we have limited time in this world and we don't determine that time. So those three things already, which is surrounded by time, tells me about the urgency. And given most of us has already wasted a lot of time already, again, time, it is a matter of urgency. If we don't take action now, then we're almost in danger. So
in danger of what? You've got to face it. You've got to look at that mirror.
Yeah.
You've got to look at that mirror. In danger of what?
In danger of feeling, in danger, the first danger is that we're getting older. So we are not going to be as
Even
strong.
you?
They, not me, I'm getting younger.
That's why I wanted to be sure.
You guys are getting older.
Now I get it.
So you get weaker, you don't have as much strength as you used to. And you know, that's just biology, that's just physical. That happens, is inevitable with death as well. So you have explained quite a lot in that introduction. It's just a matter of dissecting each point that you made in that, so that it can really home into my understanding better.
You're Oblakabanta. Who wants to say the next?
Okay, I want to say something. I believe that through this book, you started to address the issue that we have in the church today, that we say His grace is sufficient for me. What else did they say?
One day
of favor is more than 10 days of labor, or 10 years of
10
labor.
years of labor.
Because this has been part of that deception that has been in the body of Christ, that has made all of us so lazy that we sit at home and wait for miracles, and we go to church, put our penny, and believe that, okay, I have given it to him, so he will now open up the windows of heaven and bless me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I was listening to a preaching the other day, I think all of us saw it, where a man of God was saying, a respected man of God was saying, it's because of the seeds that I sowed on my children's head that have made them to be so successful.
But what made you to think that everybody saw it?
I didn't say.
I didn't say it.
You saw it, but maybe you didn't notice that particular part. The video is in a movement of the deception in church.
It doesn't mean that she opened it or she looked at it.
She shared it.
Yeah, she could share it but not look at it.
Okay.
That happens.
Okay, there is a video that is going around on YouTube where people we are told to sow 1,000, to sow 1,000, like if you're 35, you sow 35,000 naira and things like that. So at the end, or when he was talking, he said that.
I saw it, but I just didn't look at the whole thing. Yeah, I switched up too.
So he said that this is his secret to his family's progress and success, because he has been doing this for his family. He has been sowing seeds on the heads of the children, and now this one has this and this one has the other one. So I was thinking, so if I just sow seeds on my children and I don't teach them how to and not just work hard, but to be urgent with it, knowing that tomorrow they will be 45 like me, and age is now looking at them. It's not even a matter of age, because like Pastor said, you don't know when you're going. Some die at 15, some die at 12. You understand? So if you didn't teach them the principles that to bring them to that wealth, which one major one of them is hard work. How will they get there? This has been the deception in church, and this is a great man of God that has millions following him, that take him as an authority, that most of them just take his word and just do it. So you believe you have sown your house, your car, whatever you have sown, and God will do the work for you. He will not.
So what do you think about this book? So
it's deception. So the book now has addressed that issue. I believe that Pastor started addressing this issue in this book even before he started the series on the deception in church. So the book is for all of us, especially Christians, to wake up and know that, as Russians say, DSA'S truda, sprudi. So without hard work, there's no way you can have any fish on your table, okay? Hard work is basic, as long as this part of the earth is concerned. Grace takes us to heaven, because no one can work enough to buy himself to heaven or to secure himself a place in heaven. But as long as this part of the earth is concerned, it is hard work. And it's urgent. If you really want to be significant on earth, then you have to do it urgently, as Dr. Sunday does.
Yeah, it's still here.
Well, I will have to say that when I first see the word, the fact that pastor is referring to the word workaholic as a positive, I have to ask myself, either pastor is a masochist or pastor has defined work as something completely different than most people. Because for you to want to do something, first of all, you have to understand what that thing is. So if he's saying that we should become a workaholic, it's probably not the same kind of work that we all are thinking. So I'm sure that he'll probably go into what kind of work he is talking about. Because I think when you define the kind of work that you're supposed to be doing, then you will understand why it's so urgent that you need to become a workaholic, because you are doing the kind of work you're supposed to be doing. I know that for me, when I was in Los Angeles, before I came to my first HMT, I was working a lot. I was working from 7 a.m. till like 11 p.m. every day, going from one thing to another to build myself. But you know what? I didn't actually know what kind of work I was supposed to be doing. I was just working. You hear people all the time say, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. In fact, there's probably some of you that are saying, I don't need this book. I'm busy all the time. I'm doing it all the time. But you don't know what kind of work. If Pastor Sunday is saying you need to become a workaholic, then you first need to ask Pastor, what kind of work are you talking about? So that would be my question for this book.
Okay, let me try to attempt to. Let me try.
He wants to say something.
Yes, I will give her. since we have Carol Wise in the house, and let me introduce the book again, show you the picture. This is the book we're talking about. How to urgently become a workaholic. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Okay. So this book here, I didn't know, and you people are helping me, and thanks to what Caroline said, you are introducing me to another part of the world, to another reality. And this might be one of the major challenges that people who are probably having with me, some of the troubles and problems that a lot of people could be having with me and my teachings. And that trouble and challenge could be in the fact that I'm living in another world. I'm living in another reality. I think I'm beginning to understand that I'm living in another reality. I didn't know. I thought everybody's supposed to be living. I thought everybody is living in the same reality as I'm living.
No.
But from what she just said now, I'm thinking, okay, so it means there are other people in the world somewhere.
Everybody else.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Who might be thinking that work is bad or is negative, or is negative, or bad impression, or good, bad, or anyway. So maybe, but I'm coming from the perspective of God. And I'm coming from and that's the best place to live from. If you live from the perspective of the earth, your reality is on the earth, then you are in danger of hating everything and everything becoming negative, painful, and torturous to you. But if you really want to really live life to the full, the best way to do it is to find out the original intent, how it was meant to be, and align yourself with that. Now, from my own perspective, like I said, it's very sad if anybody or people, like Mayowa said, that majority of the people in the world don't have the same perspective or the same perception of work as I do. It's very pathetic, because then they are going to be suffering. Then work is going to be like torture or suffering for them. Right now, when we started this program, there is somebody who heard the name, the title of this book, and said, "Oh, I like to work. I love to work. I am a workaholic, but only I don't have a job." Somebody just said that.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic, but the problem is I don't have a job. That means that person is coming from another perspective that I'm not familiar with. Because a true workaholic, in the sense that I mean it to be, in what I'm talking about, in the sense that I'm talking about, a true workaholic in that sense doesn't need a job, even though he's a workaholic. And a true workaholic will never talk like that and say that the only problem is that I don't have a job. Then you are not a workaholic. A workaholic knows the most important truth about work, which is the most important work that you could do is work on creating yourself into the image, the expectation, the ideal self that you were supposed to be. So the most important work is to add value work on adding value, in creating your inner content, so that you will thereafter be able to live from inside, from that reality that you have created inside, from that personality that you have formed inside, from that ideal person that has been created inside. That ideal personality from inside now could create a correspondent world outside. Therefore, work and being a workaholic is being a workaholic to make myself my ideal person inside, first of all. And once that ideal person is already inside, I just go out to mold it, to replicate it. That is to say, the ideal and the most important aspect of work is to first of all have the architectural plan or design of your ideal life in here. And then, just like when your architectural design is already ready, then it's just a matter of of action to put the bricks in place for the architecture, for the building to take shape. Those are the two aspects of work that anybody that really understands this concept that I'm talking about should know. So if you understand that concept, that every day is an opportunity for you to form yourself, to make yourself into somebody. It's like you are eating ice cream. It's like you are always what do you call it? You are, what do you call hazard in English again?
Maybe hyped?
No, huh?
You're high? Or?
No, yeah, it's like somebody that is playing gambling. That is gambling, right? And it's always what is making them to go. No.
Adrenaline.
Huh?
Obsessed?
No. Huh?
Obsessed?
You are obsessed, but there is a word. You are motivated because you won 1,000 one time, and you are, yeah. There is a word that in Russian that's
I just found it venturous, some excitable, venturous, ardor, gambling.
What? Huh?
Ardor, gambling, ardor, gambling. Those
All I
are.
can think of is greed.
Hazard.
American words aren't very descriptive.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a kind of drive. Yeah, I think that's a better word that I'm looking for.
Somebody
It's
said
a drive.
addicted.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, drive.
Driven, yeah.
Driven, drive. So there is a drive in you. There's a drive in you that, you know that, I'm forming myself. I'm creating myself the best man, the best person. I'm becoming something. I'm becoming that is what you are a workaholic for, first of all. And then but once you have that picture of your ideal self, then you want to recreate that and bring that out. So you are driven to bring it to reality for everybody to see what is already inside. That is why you are a workaholic. Well, so thank you for raising that topic, that we are probably talking about different kind of work. The kind of work that I'm talking about is the greatest discovery anybody could think about. And that's why all these things are written in this book. And that's why you must all try and get a hold of this book. Voila.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Okay, maybe another person would like to add something.
Well, I can say what I'm thinking. So,
That's exactly what I was expecting you to say.
okay, so before Pastor started talking about what he just said, to explain exactly what it means, what he means with being a workaholic, I was thinking that coming from a secular perspective, people wouldn't necessarily see being a workaholic as something negative as long as it brought them something. So they would go to work and then maybe, do overtime because they knew they would get more salary or whatever. So people would only become workaholics, not necessarily for themselves, but they would...
For the reward.
Exactly, for a reward. So they will only work to get something from it, and not because they would value themselves or they would have a sense of identity in trying to bring out that identity. So that's
that's the kind of thing she was talking about when she was in
Exactly.
Los Angeles. But that doesn't bring the kind of dissatisfaction that I need.
Yeah, but what I'm also, what I have a question mark around is the urgency, because I would not necessarily combine the two, because being a workaholic is already enough, you would say, and not necessarily urgent, because you work and then you bring out a product or something. But
okay, let me tell you the combination with urgency. The combination with urgency is the fact that work itself is not about what you just said. Going to your company or to your factory, and then you know you are going to pay you more salary, and because they are going to pay you more salary, you are doing overtime or overnight work or whatever. You are doing extra work because you know you get extra reward. That is not work, in my own understanding. And because you are doing that kind of work, of course you will never associate urgency with it. There is no way to associate urgency with that kind of work the way you are thinking. And if it's right what Mario has said, that the whole world is thinking like that, that is what is called slavery, slave work. So what you just described now and what she just described is called slave work. And that's not the kind of work I'm talking about. The kind of work that I'm talking about is, first of all, you have to understand that work is not meant for survival. But what you just described is work as a means of survival.
It's a job.
It's a job. But I'm not describing work as a job, as a means of survival. Number two, work for me is not a means of just getting yourself engaged or busy. No. And for me, work is also not a means of greed. Doesn't have anything to do with greed, as far as I'm concerned. My own understanding of work. So therefore, what is my understanding of work? My understanding of work is this. Work, first of all, is meant for me to discover me. Work is meant for me to discover myself. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I want to discover myself. I want to discover myself. I want to know. I want to know. So for me to know, I work to discover me. No greed, no reward, no money. But the reward is personal satisfaction and the picture that I see in the mirror. And then work is, for me, self-improvement. I want to make that picture plain. I want to make it to be more compatible to the original picture, to the original image of the one who gave me this life. So work for me is about discovering the origin of where I am from. Who sent me here? What he sent me for? Work is purpose. Work is discovering him so that I could discover myself. So that's why when I'm working as an engineer that is studying the grass or studying the plants and studying archaeology and the sun and the moon and creation, I am discovering the person who sent me here through his handiwork. I'm seeing this work, his creation, and I'm discovering myself. I'm falling in love with him, I'm falling in love with myself. Then I am unveiling for myself all the intricacies of my origin. That's why work cannot be limited only to the church. Work for God cannot be limited only to the church. Work for God cannot be only limited to the fivefold ministry. Work for God cannot be, because God is in all the things he created. And by exploiting and working on the things that he created, I'm discovering. The fact that I'm rewarded with money, salary, or whatever, it's a shock to me. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. That's not what I'm after. I'm after this. My possibility, my growth, my discovery. So that is the first thing that work means to me. Second thing that work means to me is work is my own means of not just discovering what my creator, my source, my origin intended for me personally, but work is for me my only instrument of actually becoming what he intended for me to be on the earth. He sent me here for a purpose. He created me for something. Work makes me to become that thing. It's the only means by which I could become it. Beautiful. 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 That's why you must urge it. Because I only have a limited amount of time to discover and to realize. It's urgent for me. Because I only have a limited amount of time, not just to do what I said, but work also means another thing for me. Work also to me means the only instrument through which I could explore creation. I live in a wonderful world. I live on the earth. Is it interesting for me to even find out anything about this earth that I'm living in? Yes. Work affords me that opportunity to find out about the creation around me. So what is the most important thing in creation? That's the next thing that work does for me. People. People are the crown of creation. Through work, if I work, I can discover more about people. Work helps me to understand people. Work helps me to discover the God in man. Work helps me to discover God in their physical nature, their mental beings, their psychological being, their spiritual being, and work makes me to improve them and make them better. Another thing that work does for me, work allows me to leave a legacy and let the world know that I was here. I cannot do that without working. Everything I've just said demands urgency because I might leave at any time. Because if I don't explore, understand the humans, men and women, people, I lose every opportunity to be able to bless them or know them or increase them or improve them. Then if I don't walk with urgency, I don't have an opportunity to leave my legacy and my footprint and to bless somebody and to discover him or myself or improve the world. Too many things that work affords me. Too many goodies that I get thanks to work. Work is a beautiful blessing from God. I believe it's the most beautiful grace and blessing God has given us. Work, beautiful stuff. I feel, talking of work, I feel I'm eating chocolate right now. I feel I'm eating chocolate.
Ice cream, yeah.
An ice cream, yes. Yes. Ice cream. Ice cream and chocolate. That's what I'm feeling by talking about work. Great blessing. I'm thinking about it, the wisdom of God to create work. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So how on earth can someone say that prayer is the main work?
Prayer is a form of work too, but it's just one form of work.
One form of work.
Yes. You are impressed by something, or you got an answer.
Well, you know.
Let's hear you out.
if you were blessed by that, then you know why I had to ask that question, because I know that when pastor is raising something, it doesn't look like the most what do they call it? Lustrous. It doesn't look like the most sumptuous thing to eat. It just looks like, what is he talking about? This one is just raw meat, no seasoning, until he begins to unpack it. So when you see he raises the topic, don't just say, oh, I know all about it. Ask him why he rose the topic, because that's one thing he says. He says an intelligent person knows how to ask a question. Ask him questions, because he's not just sitting here giving us all this just so we can smile and clap for him. He's doing it because he knows a whole lot more that he can unpack for you. You're reading this book won't even tell you half of what's inside his mind, but at least we get a little bit of...
Now all I have said is not in the book. I'm sure that partly what he has said is not even in the book.
But this book now will uncover what kind of questions... Pastor is the kind of person who is here for you to ask questions. So this book is actually giving you a map of what kind of questions you need to start asking him. So it's actually really great that he went into that whole thing about what work is, because we understand why urgently we now need to get the book. Yeah. Before we were just thinking, become a workaholic, maybe I'll get it at some point. Yeah. I don't know really But now that we know what kind of work he's talking about, now we're all thinking, let me buy my book. Where's the nearest place to go get the book? Because I have to urgently get, So I'm grateful that I even had the thought to even ask the question, because I think it is essential for us to even understand the value of the book.
But I wouldn't have, if you had not raised that, I would have, for me, it would have been silly for me to even think I need to raise that question personally. I just think, why?
No, people are, that's the one thing that I always say to my wife. I say, pastor thinks that everybody's mini Pastor Sunday.
Yeah, I think people know what it is. Because when she said that, I just humbled myself. I said, so does that mean I'm living another world?
Yes.
So if everybody doesn't understand, it means it's like I'm living another world altogether.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to humble myself. Okay, since they all agree that they don't understand, then let me say. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even thought it's necessary. I didn't even see the need. I thought everybody should know this now.
No.
Yeah? This is online,
Maybe I should read the comments.
You want comment?
Yes, I want to read the comments.
Okay. I thought we have not even spoken. Because I just answered that question.
Olumuyiwa said,
okay.
DSA, don't be afraid. Why was it?
Don't be amazed, I guess.
No, I think it's afraid because it said I was afraid when you were explaining about Caroline's question. Bisoye says the work DSA is explaining, to my understanding, is a kind of work that was commanded to us to bring God's kingdom on earth, not work to get paid, but become a workaholic.
So it means most of the world doesn't work that way.
No.
No, are you serious? No, it's not possible.
And even if you were to tell them what you just said, I'm going to go and discover myself, they think that you're just being silly. What kind of nonsense? You're just going off to go and like, you can ask Julie about all the kinds of things she got just by coming here.
Exactly. So most people are only familiar with you working just to survive.
Yes. Like they're around in a race.
It's not possible.
That's the definition of work for them.
Then they will not be happy now.
They don't care as long as there's bread on the table.
They care, they just don't know.
Okay.
And the other thing I discovered that this is even more prevalent amongst people that are educated, so-called educated, that have gone to school, because I think
they become better slaves.
Yes, because even if I remember even when I was much younger, when I talk about business, I want to be, work in business. Oh, that's really for illiterates or people that are not, just to discover myself, to do something that I really want to do rather than going to work 9 to 5 in a corporate environment. And just talking that I want to find myself and do. They don't even any of my friends don't understand. You went to school, so you want to start buying bags, or what do you want to do and selling, or what do you want to do? Do you want to have a business and do this? It's almost like that's the wrong thing to do. I know this is not just about business or, but just doing something out of the box. The go to school, get a good corporate job, kind of out of the box. You're crazy. Why would you want to do that? What you should be aiming to do is to go to school, get a good grade, and go into a very good company and lead in the company. You know, work your way up to lead. It doesn't matter if that's your purpose. It doesn't matter with that. You know, that is aligned with what you really want. Yes.
No.
Yeah. So they look at you like you're crazy. Like, you know, you're not okay mentally if you want to do otherwise. You know, if you're telling your friend and wait for your pension and get your pension, you know, have a good benefit at work, medical. You know, I mean, in the West, really, that's...
They bring up their children like that.
No, when if you are saying what you are saying and it's true, I'm really offended.
Well,
I'm really offended. I'm really offended. If that is the reality out there, I'm really offended, okay?
Yeah, that's the reality.
Because it means they are abusing people. You are abusing human beings. And they are outrightly using people and people don't know it? Well, I'm sorry.
It's not just that they're being abused, but the people themselves, they put themselves under that abuse. They choose
because they've been brainwashed into it.
Exactly. Yeah. All they think about. I recently had a conversation with someone and spoke to her about, you know, my endeavors and everything that I'm gonna do and I will try to do and explore. And they were classifying this as something like the mindfulness kind of people.
Fairy tale.
Yeah.
Not with it mentally.
Maybe at some point you will, you know, realize that you have to get back to work. So that's how they would describe it. Yeah. So they don't think you're. They think it's like a phase almost, like it's a phase of growth.
Like you've lost your mind and you've gone somewhere to go and retrieve it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I heard all the time growing up.
Kate wants to come and say something, I guess.
She should bring her chair. Bring her chair.
Yeah, I see it's okay. Yeah, I also worked some time in the company, and for 1.5 years, I felt like something is really wrong. Because
it's wrong.
like you know what, and I was like one white bird between black birds. You know how they say, I don't know, like they really
black sheep.
Black sheep. They really thought that I am out of my mind because I decided to leave job. You know, because I decided to leave job because I found something else to do. And they were asking, is it going to bring you the same money? I said no, I don't even know what money it can bring to me. And they were saying like, you must be crazy. You must be crazy during the crisis to leave job. You must be crazy. This is what I heard all the time. Like because they thought you must be crazy. They thought that I'm mentally not well, and I felt myself like I was asking myself, am I crazy? Am I okay? And I just knew that there cannot be another way for me anymore, because like I cannot continue like this. That's it. But people, they usually think that you are crazy when you decide to to follow your passion, to do what you really want to do. Yeah, this is how it is. And from what I heard about work now from you, it's like a new world. It's totally new view. No one sees work like this. People can see work as a self-development. They can see work like this as achieving something, success or something like this. But usually people don't see work as something exciting that can discover yourself. Mm-hmm. Like this is the concept that no one never heard. I'm sure about this. I don't know, like maybe even like this is what I believe, that never people heard a concept that you work to discover yourself.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time they connect their identity with their work. And when you ask them who are you or what are you doing, the first thing they think about is their job description. Yeah. So
and they're not even happy with the job.
Yeah.
So
but I found that even in Warner Brothers, when I was working there, I worked in 14 different departments. So I met people who were very young, who were just starting out, to people who were very old. and it amazed me how unhappy, and they knew they were unhappy in the job, but they've been working there for 10, 20, 30
What company?
years. Warner Brothers.
That's in Hollywood.
Yes. And they knew they were
Working there
unhappy.
for 20, 30 years.
20, 30 years, and they're working as assistants and, you know, what have you. But what I realized with each of them is that they all had this unction in them that they didn't know who they were, and they haven't known. They know, because I would talk to them, I tried to pull out, okay, so what kind of the decisions that you made that got you to here, and why didn't you go after that dream or that
You're talking
thing?
about 19-year-old people,
No,
20-year-old?
I'm talking from 20-something to 50-something, sometimes in their 60s. And they've been working 30 years as an assistant.
My God, though.
Yes.
As an assistant. They haven't even climbed any ladder. And they originally came to do something completely different. And I'm asking them questions like, so how did you even get to this place? 33 decades. You didn't even make one change.
Are you serious?
And you know, as I'm
People
talking,
are dying off like this?
yeah, but they are conscious. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. I'm asking them questions and they're answering, and they're just shaking their head at themselves like they don't even know what happened. So everybody is it's like everybody wants to go and do what you are saying, but they don't even have anybody to encourage them or to say,
Or to instruct them.
yes, this is what it is, you know. Define the thing that they're supposed to do.
I have a little story about that, and that's even from church. I remember I wanted to leave a company, a really well-known company in UK. I decided I just want to leave, and I was telling my pastor, like, you know, I need to leave, I want to leave. It just discouraged me for like a whole year not to leave, and I was so unhappy. You know, I was so miserable, and I was telling him, I really don't want to do this anymore. I have another plan. I want to set up my own business. I have everything worked out. I was like, no, don't do it. You know, the best thing to do is just stay there. It's a very good company. You know, in a few years, you will be at the top of the company. And I kept on saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And the worst thing that happened was after I eventually decided to leave. So I left. And every time anything happens, when I go to his office to talk, oh, I bet there's something with your business or something. I told you not to leave that company. I told you. Even if it's not that's happened, he just doesn't believe that it's the right decision, it's the right thing to do. And those are people that everyone listens to.
But that is talking career.
Yes, he's saying that, you know, don't leave, and, you know, when I...
So their only understanding of work is to build a career.
Yes, in somebody else's company. You know, not even in your own company. It's like the best career you can build, the best career that you can build has to be in somebody else's company, and it has to be a corporate company that is already big and well known. There is no chance for you to even start from nowhere to develop into something.
But do you then realize that you are a slave there?
I realized I was so unhappy there. You know, it doesn't matter what position they gave me or what salary they gave me. I was just so unhappy. I was even staying when the pastor was saying stay there. I stayed for a whole year extra, and there was no improvement. In fact, there was decline in myself, in my own self-esteem. I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go and do my own thing, set up my own thing, develop, even if I have to start from ground zero, develop that to be something. That's what I see for myself. And he kept on saying, no, I'm just, you know, you're just this wild kind of person. You always, you know, want to do things and just go out of the norm of what people do. That's something about you, Mayawa. You need to just calm down. This is, you know, he even told me this is many people's dream job. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's their dream job, but it's not my dream job. But, you know, over the years, I think about it all the time that, you know, even up to the last minute coming here, many years said, oh, you know, you would have been happier if you were still in that company. You know, anything that happens, you'd have been happier if you were still in that company. So what I'm just trying to say here is that the whole environment, nothing is conducive to you even trying to understand work as you discovering yourself. Nobody wants to give you that chance. They have a template that's already written. And if you don't follow that template, you're crazy. You're in fairyland.
Don't you have a similar story with that those kind, you know, that is discovering yourself is more important than getting a job or having a good job or having a good career?
Yeah, for me it was twofold. So I had the people at work, and I had church people as well who tried to discourage me of this because
of what? What is this?
Of
you have to start by saying you have a good job or somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so I also had a good job, and I had, I was working in a company that everyone wants to work at nowadays. Everyone is trying their best, and you have to see the types of resumes and applications people send just to get into our company. It's amazing. Or the company I used to work for. So they try to give you everything you need, so you actually don't have to have any expenses outside of coming to work, because you get food, you get drinks, you have even a shower, you have a person who, a masseur, yeah, masseuse, yeah, a masseuse. You have activities, you have everything. So people, basically, if you want to leave that company, people will tell you that you're crazy because you have everything. They tell you this is something that you will never get anywhere else, and how do you want to sustain yourself? You will have so many expenses. And so people would usually, what I have seen in the company, people would be so afraid to even think about leaving the company just because they're afraid of losing all these benefits. Everything is just about benefits and being in a comfort zone, not even thinking about who you are or discovering yourself or your identity. Everything that I get as a response would have been, oh, Julie, this is the way of life. Where else will you get your money? You need to get money. You need to pay your bills, you need to pay your rent and all of that. So people would not think further than that. And on the church side, when I was to announce that I quit my job and I wanted to come here to discover myself and discover what God has put into me and cultivated, what I told to the people who asked me why I did it was that I was dying inside. I felt like I was going to work every day at least 10 hours. I would feel exhausted after coming home, and I wouldn't even be able to do anything because I felt like I ran a marathon. And after the month ended, obviously you get money, but I wasn't doing anything. I was not progressing, I was stagnating, and I wasn't being challenged, I wasn't growing at all. And what I was asked was, but at the end of the day, you got a salary. And that's everything that church people cared about in my case. So even in church, you don't get the support that you need if you have gotten to that stage of self-discovery or actually wanting to discover yourself. People will still discourage you. They don't even see the value in you discovering yourself or being satisfied with your job. They don't. All they do is, looking at the money and asking you how much money you get and if you get to travel around and if you get this and that kind of benefit. So it's not about you or your self-fulfillment.
Anyway, can you tell them where they could get the job?
The book. Don't go get the job. Don't go get her job.
The book.
Okay, you can get the job there. I was kind of, what I was trying to do there? I was trying to make pastor saying, okay, you didn't say it right. And then what happened? I got it. Okay, big lesson. There, you can get the book from Amazon, wherever you are, any country, .com.co.uk. So, or if you're in Germany, wherever. The book is Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. So, Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. So please get the book. You can see it's more about self-discovery than anything. So it's important that we all discover ourselves. And my favorite book is Who Am I and Why Am I Here? I think those two books will be great together. So if you can get that, if you haven't already got that, you can get both together. But let me read some comments I have here. Monica says, DSA, with this book, people, including me, would think that you're talking about doing 9 to 5 Uncle Sam type of job. But since you explained it now, we now have the idea of what you mean, sir. Laugh out loud. Then we have Evan says, there are different types of fruits produced by labor. What kind of fruit is produced with this type of work? This is a bit inverted from my culture's reality. It is serving. Okay, Evan. Then we have Tad that says, yes, DSA, on point. Job is just over broke. What you do to make a living. Work is from the old German word work, meaning purposeful, energy. What you do to make a life. Quit your job, find your work. Thank you. That's good advice by Tad. And then we have Amina that says, secretly, Most people fear freedom even though they talk it. They are confident under constraints and pull strings of the system cause their robot. Yes, a lot of people do fear freedom. That's really a valid point. Then we have Evan that says the most important work in the work of creation. The most important work is the work of creation. It is the first thing God exemplified to us. We were created in the image of God to create. True. With a question mark. So it's asking if this is true. Then Evan again. Well done, Evan, for all your comments. God revealed to me my purpose is to sow seed of innovation into the hands of the leaders of the ministry. But how do you do that is the question. Okay, I think this book might be for you, Evan. So get the book. It's available on Amazon. You can get both electronic and hard copy. So check it out, please. Then we have Anne-Marie that says, hearing DSA describe work as pleasurable is so new. I only heard that with DSA and the momentum to DSA family as packed because of DSA's teaching. Yes, I know when he was saying it, you would think that it's not actually work, that is something else. So that's a very good observation, because I was thinking, what's he describing? Is it really work that we think? But yes, this way says, the work DSA is explaining to my understanding is the kind of work that was commanded to us by bringing God's kingdom on earth. I've read this before, but I'll just finish it. Not work to get paid, but become a workaholic. To bring God's kingdom to our different fields of endeavor. Thank you. Yinka says DSA might be the only one in the whole world seeing work in this perspective, because for majority of us, we seek work as what we do for money. I have bought this book, but yet to read it. I must start reading it immediately after the broadcast. Urgently. This is Yinka Michael Okekunle. Yes, so, well, that's a good advice yourself, but make sure you read it urgently now, because you've got it already. Reverend Rosalind says, unwavering drive to get to the top of your career, regardless of visible and eminent barriers on your way. Okay, that's not it, Reverend Rosalind. I'm sure you've had a change of mind since Dr. Sunday started describing what work is. So that was 22 minutes ago that you wrote this. So I'm looking forward to your update. Omonika says, yes, like Caroline said, where I was working before, I met people working for more than 20 years in the same position. Unfortunate. Then we have Anichuku that says, a man finds fulfillment in his work, what he has become, in bracket, not in his job. Thank you, Samuel, which is Anichuku is there. So I'm going to say Samuel. Then work is becoming yourself by bringing out your God-given gift of talent in you. Job makes you work for Uncle Sam. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel also said, this is deep, and it will destroy our theology about work. Yes, it's already destroying that totally for me. Olusegun says, the best thing an individual can do is to first of all work on him or herself before affecting your environment. Thank you. Then we have Eric that says, the mist to become what God created you for is through work. Yes. Eric again says, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes a sweat, determination, and hard work. Colin Powell that says that. That's a quote from Colin Powell. Thank you, Eric. Then Evan says, you think I'm crazy, but Pastor needs me to work for him. Okay. All right. I don't think you're crazy. Chioma says, who? Okay.
Yeah, that you should check his message.
Who?
Evan.
Okay, Eric.
No, Evan.
Evan or Toppin? Heaven?
Evan or Eric?
He wants to work for.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Sunday, I've replied to your messenger. Oh, sorry.
His assistant.
Okay. One of Dr. Sunday's assistants, I've just replied to your messenger. So check it out, okay? To that comment that you made about work. Chioma Ego says, good evening, family. How do we get the book here in Nigeria? This book should already be available on Okada, so you can get it electronically, or you can contact Chioma. I think we can put Chioma's number there, or just Chioma's link, because she's also on Facebook, so you can go to her messenger and contact her. Pastor Ernest says, when I watched that video of sowing according to one's age, I got so disgusted. I never thought such caliber of pastor would make such invitation. It made me know that the error in church is generational, but DSA'S were fortunate not to grow up in that system. That's why we are blessed with the wisdom and revelation coming from. Thank you, Pastor Ernest. And then we have Omonike again saying, okay, it's just greetings. Thank you, Omonike. Good evening. Okay, let me check if there's any more comments. Sergey says, sir, do we have the French version of this revolutionary book? I don't think the French version is available yet, but if you want to translate it to French, then write to us, vip@godembassy.org. So let's know if you want to do that. That's an opportunity right there for you. Then let's see if there are any more comments. I read that. Nikki says, I have always thought work to be career building, whether it's your passion or not. Thanks, DSA, for the exposition. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. So that's it, I guess, for today. No, that's not it for today. That's just it for now on this book review. We'll be back again in... Okay, what's that? By the way, people, you are all glowing because you're in your purpose. Thank you, Dupe.
Thank you, Dupe.
I think it's the camera, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll be back in about 50 minutes, guys. So Dr. Sunday will continue with the plague of silence. Again, I have to look at the topic, but come back in 50 minutes and we would... Dr. Sunday will continue on the plague of silence. So 50 minutes, we'll see you again shortly. I've got one little announcement actually regarding those who are in the movement or who wants to join the movement, and Dr. Sunday asking us to send a proposal, asking to send a proposal to his email. We had a deadline on Thursday, but I am suspecting that not everyone has actually submitted their proposal and what they want to do for the movement. If you haven't already, do they have any more time, or you're closing it?
It actually was closed, but who knows? Maybe Pastor Sunday will open the door again.
So are you saying it's closed or is it open?
Yeah, it's actually closed. Yeah.
Okay.
We will review everything as well. So.
Okay, guys. Julie is saying that there was a deadline of Thursday, and I'm also saying that. But if you really think that you want to join this movement, we're not going to stop you from sending your proposal, but there was a deadline of Thursday. So please do that quickly before we're not actually accepting any more proposal, because we have to end at some point so that we can collect those people that are serious and they want to move forward in the movement. So that's it regarding the movement. Well, guys, we'll be back in 50 minutes, as Olumuyiwa have just pointed out. We'll be back for another program by Dr. Sunday, which is going to continue on the plague of silence. Olumuyiwa, I think you might be new because you're saying you're putting 50 minutes with question. So let me just suggest a few things to you. Dr. Sunday is also on YouTube, which is Sunday Adelaja Official. Sunday Adelaja Official. So you can check him out on YouTube quickly, and you can see the series and different titles that he has been discussing with us and teaching us over the last few weeks. Prior to that, we have several playlists since it started last year. There's so many titles that you can actually listen to and watch on his YouTube, which is Sunday Adelaja Official. He also has a blog, which is SundayAdelajablog.com. You can also check that out, Olumuyiwa. And definitely come back in 50 minutes so that you can see exactly what you're questioning, question mark. So thank you all. I will see you again. I hope to see you. It's always intriguing sitting here and just listening alone. It's just impactation of wisdom. So see you again. Take care, guys.
Bye.
From all of us. Bye. Amy, tell the camera. Bye 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 bye. Carol.
Wise.
Rise.